Have you seen a Monument grill in a big box store and wondered, is this a good grill for the price? Then you're in the right place. Hello, I am Wanderer001 and this is my review of the Monument Grill Mesa 400. This grill was provided to me by Monument Grill for the purposes of doing an unbiased review, so that's what you're going to get. So let's get into the actual review of the Mesa grill here. Now, for those of you who have never actually assembled a grill before, well, neither have I, and to assemble the Mesa 400, it took me and my wife 2 hours. There are a couple of key areas that I want to make you aware of with the assembly of this that I found particularly tricky, and that mostly is over here with the side burner, the actual assemble of the knob itself and the electronics, as well as underneath there, the gas hose that you have to attach in order to actually have it be able to ignite that side burner. That particular area was a bit of a tricky situation for my wife and I. Again, having never done this before. I'll also admit that the wiring under there could be a little better. There's 3 wires that you need to pay attention to. One is the actual battery pack because, well, all the knobs there light up. So you gotta connect that so the LEDs work. The second is for the actual igniter, which has 2 parts. One hooks up, connects to the switch there. The other part goes up into the top area there to actually ignite. That could be labeled a little better. Yes, I realize that one of the wires is red and black, and then the other one is just straight back, but if you've never done something like this before, that could be a little tricky, so just keep that in mind. Those are things to look for, as well as that secondary wire that you have to pull out and plug up. You do have to pull out. It's not just dangling out there. So food for thought on assembly. 2 hours, not too bad. I will say that pretty much it uses 2 screw sizes for everything. The one thing I kind of wondered is they have a bag of extra parts, and part of me is wondering, with this over here, this is actually our utensil rack, and right there, there's only 1 screw holding that up. However, if you look in the spare parts, there's 2 other screws because there's 2 other holes underneath there. So I'm wondering if it really is spare parts or if it's just things that you should be using, but they don't necessarily want you to. That aside, assembly, for never having done this before, 2 hours, I'm going to say that's not too bad. So if you've assembled something like this before, it's really good because most of the screws are actually already screwed in and you just need a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen them up. So let's start talking about the grill itself. You're looking at stainless steel construction all around. So you're definitely going to want to get a grill cover for this because that stainless steel is not going to look pretty once things start hitting it. But if we start coming in and actually taking a tour, we will start up here with our lid. As you can see, one of the primary features of the Mesa 400 that I really like with Monument Grill, because I never actually really thought about one of these, it's glass. You can look in there as long as it's bright enough out to see inside. You can keep an eye on your cooking. Really nice. A big temperature gauge is not necessarily something I thought I would need, but having it there makes it super great. When we come back to the handle here, unlike some other grills that I've used in the past, this one, even though it's metal, it's far enough away from the actual lid construction here that this does not get warm to the touch like some others that I've done. In fact, when we were seasoning the grill grates in here, we left it on max for 30 minutes, came back, so we're looking at over 700 degrees. This was super cool to the touch, didn't have any issues. Now, when we open our lid, I'm going to point out some things that you might not have thought about with something like this. And this is things that Monument Grill apparently thought of. They're nice little touches. Right here and here on either side of the grill, and if we quickly swing around to the back and kind of take a look right there, there's another one on the other corner. Those are little rubber stoppers that make for a actual quiet grill close. Those are little things that you might not have thought about that are actually really ingenious. When we come and take a look inside, we are looking at a primary cook surface of 392 square inches, and we're just going to come in a little closer right here so we can see we've actually got a nice warming grill up here, which is coated in something that I'm not entirely sure I particularly care for on a warming tray, but that's besides the point. Works perfectly fine. Coming down, we have 4 individual burners. And with those burners, we can control the actual cooking surface. So we can do indirect heating by turning on this burner and leaving the 2 in the middle off if we wanted to do that. But since we're talking about the grill surface here, why don't we take a quick meat montage break. So there you saw, nice meat montage. We're gonna come in and look at our grill a little closer. So our grilling surface here is porcelain coated cast iron, and we have a total of 5,200 BTUs of cooking temperature. Now each of these right here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, put out 1,000 BTUs. And then the side burner, which we'll talk about in a moment, puts out 1,200 BTUs. Now, since we're talking about our actual grilling surface here, there are a couple of things that I wanted to point out. In that one, if you've used other grills, we'll say, the surface here is kind of channeled down and in. Is that bad? Not necessarily, but it means you can't really put food close to the front. But you're not going to want to do that anyway, because when I was testing this out, the closer you got to the front here, the cooler the temperatures actually were. And that's partially due because of the way that the flavor bars and heating element under there are situated. Is that bad? No, but it is a data point for you that I want you to be aware of. One other thing that you might not have considered with something like this is actually the lid. Now, because of the way that this is particularly mounted, you're not going to be able to get a really, really large item in here like you could with some other grills. However, one thing that you don't think about is being able to just grab right here and pull it down. With those other lids that are huge and you could put like a full turkey in there, guess what? You have to really reach across your heating elements to do that because the lid is very high. Monument Grill here, the Mesa 400, you don't have that problem. It's actually, again, these are little things that you don't think about that separate this grill from others that you might have seen. Now, we're going to come down to our knobs right here, and right here we can see indications as to where we are controlling. There is an igniter right there in the middle, and again, something that you may have to get used to is the fact that for each of these, you have to turn the gas on, press the igniter, turn the gas on, press the igniter. That allows you to do kind of heating control that we were talking about before, but if you come from other grills where you turn the grill on, ignite once, and then chain, it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. It's not terrible, but just something, again, to keep in mind. And because the grill itself is all stainless steel, you're going to want to definitely pick up some cleaner eventually, because that's going to get kind of gross really quickly. We're going to come along to the side here and show you that there's a little discoloration because of the heat, but that's going to be like that for any type of stainless steel like this that gets really close to heat. So not a problem, just be aware of that. And then right over here, we have a hole for a rotisserie, should we want to use that. Now, the wings are really nice, starting with the right side here, because guess what? We have an extra burner, an extra cooking surface. If we want to keep either sauces warm or cook some beans up while we're cooking whatever we're actually cooking on the grill, it's nice to have this extra surface to do that. And just like with the others, you turn the knob and then press the igniter over there to get it started. There's another way to turn it on as well, but we'll get into that in a moment. Coming across to the other wing, again, very nice, a lot of space to work with. Here, this is actually where our utensil racks go. And right here, this is what I was mentioning before, where there should be 3 screws, but there's really just the one in the instructions right there. I do like that it's kind of underneath the wing a little bit, so it kind of hides anything that you're hanging there. It also means that you can also keep tools still on here easily if you get a cover for this, and then just go back into the spare parts and screw the rest of that in. Coming down to the front, we've got our 2 doors. You'll notice that they did save a little money with the Mesa 400 by not having an actual handle on the front to grab. It's really just a recessed thing right here. My suggestion is, watch where my hand goes, do this to open these up, because I did a number on my thumb kind of reaching up like that. So just keep your thumb out of the way. But here we go, open them up. 1 and 2. And here we have the inside. So you've got a nice little channel right there. There's a cutout for your propane tank, and actually a little placeholder to help keep the propane tank in place and not moving around on you. Right over there, you can see the battery pack for the LEDs, which we didn't talk about. Right up here, all 4 of our knobs, including the side one over there, 5, all have LEDs, which are turned on by this. Now, a little hard to see right now, so I'll flash up on the screen, letting you see what that actually looks like. It's more of a novelty or a gimmick, because if you need the LEDs to see the knobs at night, chances are you're not seeing your meat. But it's a nice party trick, and it's kind of a cool feature. And that is all run off that separate battery pack right back there. Over here we have a drip pan. Now, my suggestion is take the drip pan, line it with tinfoil, because that'll make it easier to clean up. But it's very easy to just come over, pick it up, and pull it out, and put it back into place if you're not trying to do that around a camera. Right here we also have our very long match chain. I kind of wish that they had it where you could kind of hook it up to something to get it out of the way, because it just feels like it's hanging there. And it's really long, and that's primarily because, guess what? If you, for whatever reason, can't hook up your side burner, you'll have to use the matchstick. So the matchstick will have to reach over. So that's why it's really long, but I kind of wish they had a better way of tucking that in. You will see that the sides are ventilated, but there's a giant cutout in the back. So let's actually swing around the back real quick and show you what I'm talking about. So right here is the back of the Mesa 400. You can see there's a giant cutout where your actual propane tank is, and right here there's a little ventilation for where your actual cook box is. So you're definitely going to want to get a grill cover for this. Monument Grill does actually sell quite a few, so you're going to want to get one for this. Now, I bring you around to the back primarily because there's an extra drip pan that is only accessible through the back, and we're going to grab it right here and pull it out. So this is almost like a grease trap and then a drip pan down below. Again, you're going to want to cover that in tinfoil, but it's another way to kind of funnel the grease and not have it just sitting around in your grill. This is a nice feature. I have had this on my other grill, which I've been referencing throughout this video. But the main difference is with Monument, this one comes out the back. With the one I was referencing, it comes out the front. It's not terrible, but just keep in mind when you're placing this that eventually you will have to come around the back to empty that out. But if we come down and look at our casters, our little wheels here, there are locking mechanisms on all four wheels, which is something, again, that other grill does not do. It only does it in the front. So having locking wheels, I kind of thought was really nice, and it makes it easier when I have to come around the back to pull that drip pan out. Overall, I was very surprised with the Mesa 400 from Monument Grills. I know I've passed them in a lot of the big box stores before, but then again, my friends all have a specific brand of grill and talked it up really, really well, so I ended up going with that one. When Monument reached out to me to test this grill, I was apprehensive at first, but let me tell you, if you are looking for a grill that has a few more bells and whistles than some of those other grills and hundreds of dollars cheaper than said grill, I highly recommend checking out the Monument Grill Mesa 400. I really think, especially if you're either looking from upgrading from a camping grill or looking for your first grill, this is going to work wonders for you and leave some money in your pocket. With that being said, I have been Wanderer 001. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.
If you found this video helpful, consider giving it a like, as that will help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here, you can always help fuel the next review by buying me a coffee, link in the description below. Last but not least, if you want to be notified when I upload a new video, you know what to do.